Good morning on this Saturday morning, and that major winter storm having a major effect on nationwide deliveries, and more on how it would affect your commute. It's December 24th, and it's a dark Christmas Eve. But first, this is today on NBC. Can it just stop? That monster winter storm on the move today and leaving unsuspected travelers stranded.
Literally just people sleeping in our terminal all over the place.
The storm is not letting up and now leaving with a brutal punch to the northeast and brutally cold temperatures coming from Canada and also making things worse as more states are declaring states of emergencies. Plus, you're done. Breaking overnight, the January 6th committee releases its final report after an 18-month-long investigation. Hundreds of thousands of documents, it feels like, being released today, showing the main perpetrator of this attack on the Capitol was Donald J. Trump. And also a recommendation to barring Trump from running again in 2024. We got more on that from Washington. And the missile test. North Korea firing a few rounds of missiles overnight as the world is looking on in horror to see what will happen if these people are not stopped. And rising tensions between the U.S. and North Korea. And only 2 threats. And why I don't say 3 threats? Because COVID-19 is not going up, it's actually going down. How RSV and flu is going up. We have the bar charts and the graph and also the statistics to prove it. And also my opinion on the way as well. And all that plus, where's my gift?
Last minute energy, that's the way I get things done, like under pressure.
The race to get last minute shopping down for Christmas and how to save on deals, and to save on very important deals. As it's Christmas Eve and what to do if your packages are extremely late due to this nasty nor'easter. Plus, football isn't for the weak. Jacksonville's defense coming up big against the Jets.
Under pressure, he's going to
leading the Jaguars to the 3rd straight win and into the playoff hunt right before the key day Christmas. All this NFL action is happening today. Excitement is building. Today, Saturday, December 24th, 2022.
From NBC News, this is Today. Live from Studio 1A in Rockefeller Plaza.
And good morning on this fine Christmas Eve day. Very excited. And we're getting there. We're getting there. We're getting close to the day where we finally open gifts just a couple hours away. So hang on to your gifts. Just hang on, because we'll be getting our gifts. We'll be opening our gifts very shortly. But first, let's talk about this monster storm that's impacting the Northeast today, especially affecting the last-minute shopping for Christmas as this system is tracking east. Here's how it looks in Cincinnati, Ohio, as blizzard-like conditions hit there at a crazy pace, and traffic problems expecting thousands of flights have been already canceled today as this winter storm is coming down in airports in New York, Chicago, and Seattle, reporting the biggest disruptions. And another concern, a very interesting concern, dropping temperatures. Look at Kansas City. Guess what it feels like. -7 degrees, and it feels even colder. But over here in Rockefeller Plaza in New York, we feel like in the 50s. We're in the 50s. It feels so warm and comfortable. But by tonight, it'll be 20 degrees. That means a 30-degree drop just from overnight as a front pushes through with snow, rain, and in some cases, sleet. We have reporters out there reporting. But first, we're going to start with Maggie Vespa, live from Chicago International Airport with the latest. Maggie?
Craig, Chanel, it's looking even more insane than it's frankly been looking all week. I mean, you guys have seen us here, and frankly, every day this week, it's been nuts. But this morning, the storm has arrived. Its impact is staggering. That customer service line back there, we can't even see the line in the crowd of people. And then look at these numbers from FlightAware. This really lays out how chaotic this morning has been. 853 delays nationwide so far this morning. More than 3,000 cancellations. Obviously, normally we have way more delays than cancellations, but that just speaks to how conservative the airlines and the airports are being canceling flights as this storm rolls in. Also a mess on the roads, accidents piling up, and all of this with just 2 days until Christmas. This morning, a massive winter storm and a dangerous deep freeze wreaking widespread havoc on holiday travel. Nationwide, more than 10,400 flights delayed Thursday, 2,600 canceled, derailing plans for tens of thousands to spend Christmas with loved ones.
I'm going to have to stick it out here and see if I can make it to Indiana.
Snow, high winds, and a brutal Arctic chill sweeping across the Great Plains and Midwest into the Northeast. More than a quarter of flights canceled in Denver, nearly 540 at Chicago O'Hare, a major hub for United and American Airlines.
It was really chaos. It was back and forth. And one minute, there's a flight at 8:30 or 6:45, and then a minute it's gone.
The ripple effects leaving no region untouched, even Tampa feeling the air travel pain.
We were checking every few hours to make sure that we weren't going to be delayed or canceled.
Tens of millions on the roads struggling too. Whiteout conditions in places like Kansas and Missouri making driving dangerous and leaving some motorists stranded. State to state, hundreds of crashes reported on the roads due to severe weather conditions. Powerful winds and Arctic air causing flash freezes. That's when temperatures plummet very quickly. In Cheyenne, Wyoming, temps dropping below zero with wind chills as cold as -50. In New York, the winds making a dangerous situation worse Thursday when a small fire broke out on the Staten Island ferry. 700 passengers forced to wait in freezing winds to be rescued. Governors, meanwhile, in at least half a dozen states declaring states of emergency, pleading with people to play it safe and hunker down for the holidays.
This is not going to be a typical storm. In fact, this could be a life-threatening storm. Please take it seriously.
Yeah, so with those warnings in mind, if you are still hoping to travel for the holiday, here's some of the advice we've heard. Those hoping to drive, officials say, frankly, if you can hunker down at this point, definitely do that. But if you do want to drive, they say allow extra time and obviously take it very slow while watching the forecast all the while. If you're hoping to fly and then your flight is canceled, the biggest advice we've seen, do not come to the airport. They say that will not help you rebook a flight. Your best bet is to stick to the app and stick to online because the phone numbers, frankly, at this point are overwhelmed. And then when you do rebook, try to rebook throughout the morning because, guys, this chaos, as we've seen, just tends to build throughout the day.
Yeah.
Craig?
And all right, thank you, Maggie, there in Chicago with the latest information. Thank you, Maggie. And now let's go from Chicago, Illinois to Benton Harbor, Michigan, where the snow can be measured in feet. NBC's Shaquille Brewster there to tell us more about this feet-like snow. Shaquille?
Good morning, Savannah. Well, we are feeling the effects of this massive storm here in Benton Harbor, Michigan. As you mentioned, right across the lake from Chicago. This area under a blizzard storm warning. It's the first such warning they've experienced in nearly 6 years. So what does that mean? You see the snow, lake effect snow that they can be expecting to come for the next couple of days. Some areas expecting more than 2 feet of snow. Now, you also see the wind whipping around this snow, and in some areas, believe it or not, the worst is yet to come. Most of it coming, and the toughest winds coming in the afternoon. Some areas expecting up to 60 miles an hour winds. And that is why you have Michigan State Police telling us to stay off the road. If you have not started that holiday travel, do not start it now, because if you look at the roads, it leads to the low visibility when you have the wind mixed with the snow already on the ground. And guys, I can't let you go without talking about these temperatures. Look at my thermometer. What does that say? That says 4 degrees, but no, it is, you factor in the wind chill, it is about 20 degrees below zero. The one piece of good news I'll give you is that I checked in with the North Pole. They say the reindeer, they are used to this weather. They are comfortable in this weather, even if it's clear that I am not.
If the snow is too bad for Shaquille, that means it's really bad. All right. And now let's move on to the weather, and let's move on to how it's looking, because many loved ones are expected to arrive at certain places, and we have to track to see if they're gonna arrive on time or not. And many people are depending on this forecast. So Dylan, how is it looking?
We have a blizzard warning still in effect, and it's not so much because of the falling snow back through Minneapolis and through the Dakotas. It's the blowing snow. The snow on the ground getting caught up in those 40, 50 mile per hour wind gusts, and it reduces visibility. We still have winter storm warnings in effect across across the Great Lakes, and the interior Northeast is under some winter weather advisories. Can we just look at temperatures here? St. Louis is 5 degrees below zero. Detroit is 12. Pittsburgh is 13. Scranton, Pennsylvania is 47. And here in New York, we're at 53. So that's the cold air that's going to surge into the Northeast. So the interior Northeast, expect a flash freeze. With the rain on the ground, those puddles will freeze over very quickly because we're going to see a major temperature drop as this storm moves through. This is eventually going to transition into a lake effect snowstorm, perhaps one of the worst blizzards that we could see in Buffalo since the 1980s, because not only will we deal with the falling snow on the order of about 2 to 3 feet, we're also going to deal with those wind gusts up to 60, 70 miles per hour. So it is going to be absolutely impossible to travel, especially in the Buffalo area, off of Lake Erie, off of Lake Ontario, but also off of Lake Michigan, where we will see about 2 feet of snow. And then again, in the parts of western New York, we could see about 2 to 3 feet of snow. Winds are going to remain very, very gusty through the day today, 40 to 50, even over 70 mile per hour wind gusts. So not only will we see those temperatures drop, wind chills will be down around 20 to 30 degrees below zero. It is going to be absolutely.
All right, we'll be back, Dylan, in just a couple minutes to track this nasty nor'easter. Thank you, Dylan. And now to the January 6th committee releasing a special report on Donald J. Trump of a multi-party conspiracy to overturn and rig the election, adding more fire onto the fuel to get his supporters prepared for January 6th. And it recommends barring the president from running again. NBC's Ryan Nobles at Washington to discuss this with us. So explain what's going on there at Washington and new developments.
And this report is the result of 18 months of work by the Select Committee. And their overall conclusion is clear, that the former president, Donald Trump, is largely responsible for the events of January 6th. Overnight, the January 6th Select Committee releasing its final report. A more than 800-page narrative that concludes former President Donald Trump is directly responsible for the violence on that day.
It was just something that I think for most Americans, it was beyond imagination.
The report providing evidence Trump and members of his inner circle, in an effort to cling to power and overturn his 2020 election defeat, quote, engaged in at least 200 apparent acts of public or private outreach, pressure, or condemnation in the 2 months between the election and the attack on the nation's capital.
It had not been for the encouragement of Donald Trump, would have never occurred. It would have been the normal transfer of power that we do every 4 years when there's a presidential election.
The report comes just days after the 9-member committee voted to recommend the Department of Justice pursue criminal charges against Mr. Trump, including obstruction of an official proceeding, Congress's certification of electoral votes, and inciting or assisting others in an insurrection. Earlier this week, the former president called the committee's work, quote, a partisan attempt to sideline him in his 2024 presidential bid. The committee also beginning to release hundreds of pages of transcripts, including an interview with star witness, former White House aide Cassidy Hutchinson, who claimed Stephen Passantino, a lawyer with ties to the former president, suggested she withhold information from the committee, saying, quote, the less the committee thinks you know, the better. In a statement, Passantino said he represented Hutchinson, quote, honorably, ethically, and fully consistent with her sole interests as she communicated them to me. The January 6th report also includes 11 recommendations to ensure nothing like the attack on the Capitol ever happens again. Among them, urging Congress to consider passing legislation to bolster its subpoena power, increase penalties against those who threaten election workers, and strengthen the nation's laws against insurrection. That would, in effect, bar President Trump from holding office again.
No man who would behave that way at that moment in time can ever serve in any position of authority in our nation again. He is unfit for any office.
And it's important to point out that the committee's criminal referrals to the Department of Justice carry no legal weight. The decision to indict the former president or any of his top aides is now in the hands of Special Counsel Jack Smith, who is now in charge of the DOJ investigation. Committee Chairman Benny Thompson said that Smith will have access to all the evidence the committee has collected.
Thank you, Ryan, for that report, and we'll be looking more in depth into this case and this committee tomorrow. All right, and now to my take on this triple-double threat. If we can pull up the graph of COVID, and you can see that it's ticking downwards. If you look at the trend line in regards to COVID, it's ticking downwards. But if you look at the trend line in regards to RSV, it has been going up and making rounds in younger kids. That's why it's very important to tackle RSV instead of tackling COVID, because it's slowly decreasing. And that is why it's very important to get your COVID-19 vaccine. So it reduces the chance of you even getting COVID in the first place. And if you do get COVID, it just reduces the chance of you going to the hospital. Now to the flu. Now let's focus on the flu. The flu goes up every time around October to December, like the middle, then the ending parts of December, right? So we know that it always goes up now around this time. So that's why it's also very important to get your vaccine. But look at this. Here it is. Here's up. Kids and adults are dying more rapidly from the flu nowadays. There was even a case in the United States where the flu literally made an adult die. But I thought adults have, again, fully, in quotes, fully grown immune systems. So it's hard for them to die from the flu, but adults are apparently dying. That's why we're saying, that's why there's some conspiracy that there might be a new strain or a new variant of the flu that's even deadlier than the vaccine that we have, but that's not confirmed. But I just want to put that out there. And not take it with a grain of salt, because it might not be actually true. But let's talk about a sheesh job. Let's talk to a sheesh job about this whole thing. So triple double threat. And I also want to talk about the 14.6% of the population, get this right, have gotten a booster. So what do you think about those folks that haven't gotten a booster? And what do you think about all the triple double threats?
Well, first of all, 45 million Americans have gotten the COVID shot. That's the new bivalent booster. That's good. But we need more Americans to do it. And I think there's still, people are learning about the fact that we have moved from getting your shot once and being done to really needing that annual shot. I don't count on my flu shot from last year to protect me this year. Same thing for COVID. Can't count on your shot from last year to protect you this year. And just getting that message out to Americans, really important to get that shot this year right now. Let's talk. Number one message is it's really important to protect our elderly, our vulnerable, and the single best way to do that, Craig, is to make sure that they are vaccinated, that everyone's vaccinated, particularly older Americans are vaccinated against both COVID and flu. We have two terrific vaccines up this year, both of them updated, both of them very effective against the circulating virus that's out there.
Thank you, Shisa, for answering those two questions. And lastly, I'm going to talk about the medications for kids and adults. It's very hard to find. I went to CVS a couple days ago. It was very hard to find. So what do you think about the non-accessibility to, medicines?
What we have is unprecedented demand. If you think about it, we're seeing the highest levels of RSV. Now, RSV is on its way down, so that's good news. The worst flu outbreak in 10 years, and then obviously COVID is still here and rising across the country. That just means a lot of demand. FDA has been in touch with the manufacturers on a daily basis. The supplies are good. They're going 24/7. Right now, the major issue is demand. My hope is in the next couple of weeks, we're going to see that demand temper, and then we're going to see all the shelves really stock up full again. But there's no problem with supply. It's just there's a lot of demand out there right now.
Yeah. All right, thank you for that interview. Although COVID is on its way down, but thank you for that interview. And enjoy your holiday weekend. And now it's all important to keep the eyes on the forecast today on this eve of Christmas. So, Dylan?
Monster storm moving through the Northeast, back through the Great Lakes where lake effect snow is going to take hold. Arctic temperatures just surging all the way down into Texas, where temperatures will be only in the teens and 20s, wind chills even colder. And also, let's not leave out the Pacific Northwest, where rain and mountain snow is going to create travel troubles out that way as well. That's a look at the weather across the country. We'll get to your local forecast in the next 30 seconds.
Welcome to Allstate, where the safer you drive, the more you save. Like Rachel here.
How am I looking?
Looking good. The most cautious driver we got.
Am I there?
No, keep going.
How's that?
I'll say when.
Now? Is that good?
Lots of cars have backup cameras now,
Those are for amateurs.
There we go. Like a glove, girl. Safe driving and DriveWise can save you 40% with Allstate. Click or call for a quote today.
And now coming up, we're talking about that Arctic chill.
Yeah.
And how to track packages and make sure they're arriving on time. But first, this is Today on NBC.
Good morning. It is 11 degrees here in Dallas, wind chill of -5. That has a lot of people saying this right here. Coming up, when and where this massive winter system that in some cases bringing wind chills as low as 50 degrees below zero is expected to hit next.
The weather outside is frightful, but the savings are so delightful at Metro Mattress. Get year-end savings on all the top brands and get $300 in gifts with purchase of Tempur-Pedic mattresses. Upgrade to an adjustable base and get $300 in gifts with purchase with luxury Chatham & Wells. Or take home a Sealy firm or soft mattress, your choice, just $459. Shop any of our new Connecticut locations. Metro Mattress.
Metro Mattress, the sleep superstore.
It's amazing to think that my grandmother started Bigelow Tea right here in New York. And today, we're still a family company. And you have to remember, tea, that's all we do. So every cup counts. That means never compromising. My family won't let that happen. And our extended family, they give their all every single day. And our community, well, they expect that. I want a cup of Bigelow Tea to be a moment just for you. That's what I hope for.
And we surprised the woman that is a crossing guard, and she is so friendly, y'all. Right after local news.
This is Todd. And this is Sarah.
She's leaving for Paris.
But this isn't your classic holiday rom-com. It's a Nissan Avantage.
Seriously?
Featuring the Nissan Rogue. And more standard power than a CR-V.
This is a love emergency.
Don't let true love or these offers get away.
Get a low $199 per month lease on the 2023 Nissan Altima.
Merry Christmas.
We're back today overlooking the Christmas tree and Rockefeller Plaza on this sunny Christmas Eve. Now to our 7:30 headline. North Korea firing 2 ballistic missiles, according to Korea, is just the latest in a series of missile tests this year. Japan's Coast Guard also reported the launch as a well-indicated and well-supported in funding as these missiles passed over him in the harbor. And the Congress passed a $1.7 spending bill to avert a government shutdown as it provides money for Ukraine and close loopholes that can lead to another January 6th and provides protection for new mothers in the workplace. The bill was passed literally just yesterday. And now to the NFL. Well. The New York Jets and the Jaguars are trying to keep their playoff dreams alive today, even if it was a wet and rainy night in New Jersey. They still went off and they still went to win 19-3. It's not looking so good for the Jets. And now let's go to that insane winter storm that's planning on upending Christmas travel and events. And guess what? 2/3 of the country are covered in this winter storm advisories. NBC's Morgan Chesky bundled up in freezing cold. Dallas, can you imagine that? Texas, cold. Hey, Morgan.
Today, Burr. It is 11 degrees in Dallas. We got a wind chill sitting at -5 right now. And in some areas across the country, we are seeing record lows that are going even colder. All part of a massive system that in certain areas are creating wind chills that are downright dangerous. This morning, a deep Arctic freeze crippling much of the country. The swirling, powerful storm causing dangerously cold temperatures from the northern plains down to the south.
It's cold, but when it's -20, it's just another level.
A news anchor in Montana with a frigid show and tell, dousing clothes in water that just minutes later were frozen solid, letting him turn a shirt into a frozen airplane. In Chicago and Kansas City, conditions felt like 30 below zero with a dangerous wind chill. In Bismarck, North Dakota, a bone-crunching 55 below. Perhaps the biggest shock hitting the usually mild south, with rare hard freeze warnings triggered along the Gulf Coast.
I don't want to lose one person
due to this cold. But folks, if we don't take it seriously, we will lose loved ones.
In Dallas, sub-freezing temps at DFW Airport today could hit 30-year lows. Escalating fears the cold could cripple the state's power grid, just like last winter. That freeze leading to at least 250 deaths. The governor reassuring residents.
The grid is going to be able to perform with ease.
Fort Worth officials now opening extra shelter space to protect anyone unhoused. What forecasters are calling a once-in-a-generation winter storm is bringing record snowfall, wind gusts, and power outages to much of the country. As families huddle together for their holiday celebrations, officials are recommending important steps to protect your home and everyone inside from the cold. You can protect pipes from freezing by adding insulation and checking for leaks. Seal window drafts and keep curtains closed to prevent heat from escaping. Covering floors and doorways will also keep your home warmer. And clean out gutters to prevent any ice buildup. A few tips for this holiday weekend. Turn polar plunge.
And if you are going to be going outside to brave the elements over the next 48 hours or so, some expert tips. They say that frostbite can happen in as little as 10 minutes. So they're stressing the importance of dressing in layers, wearing hats and gloves if you do. And they say if and when you should lose power, make sure you check the location of those warming sites ahead of time so you know exactly where to go.
And thank you, Morgan. And standing to the right of me is Dylan to explain what's going on with this whole winter storm and to make it sound in better terms. And all that stuff in purple is the winter storm and the portions of the country that are covered in that winter storm. So Dylan, explain it better.
In pink here, but I want to show you just how drastic these temperature drops are. It's striking, really. Raleigh right now is at 50 degrees. Winds are gusting up to 45. DC's at 44 and New York's at 52. Watch what happens 12 hours from now. Raleigh drops down to 20 degrees, still windy. DC drops down to 10 degrees, wind chills below zero. New York City, we drop down to 15 degrees by 7 o'clock. That's a 38-degree temperature drop in just 12 hours, and then the wind on top of that will make it even colder. This is a windstorm as it moves into the northeast, and again, eventually the snow will wind down, but lake effect snow will take hold, especially across western New York and Michigan. That's a look at the weather across the country. Now here's a peek out your window.
And now to Timothy Cardinal Dolan, paying us a visit to share his faith and his family. And also
ready to help with your last-minute holiday shopping and shipping concerns.
Hey there. Well, this is actually one of the busiest shopping days of the entire year as the Dash for Deals enters its final stretch. And if you're among the perennial procrastinators, admittedly myself included, we've got you covered. No need to panic. Coming up, we'll break down the best deals and share some tips around how you can even personalize those last-minute buys. Stay with us.
Are going to witness, look out the window, an absolute spectacle. Showtime. That's big.
I'll be.
Why do they always have to go bigger?
Are you pulling on my legs right now?
No.
Let's go!
If you still have symptoms of moderate to severe rheumatoid arthritis or active psoriatic arthritis after a TNF blocker like Humira or Enbrel, Rinvoq is different and may help.
Stand up to your symptoms with Rinvoq. Rinvoq is a once-daily pill that tackles pain, stiffness, swelling. For some, Rinvoq significantly reduces RA and PSA fatigue.
It can stop further irreversible joint damage, and Rinvoq can leave skin clear or almost clear in PSA. That's Rinvoq relief.
Rinvoq can lower your ability to...
Here with Consumer Confidential, as in which we have Emily Ikadana to talk about last-minute shopping, gifts, and more. Emily?
Us with tips and tricks for checking those last-minute items off your list. Emily, good morning.
Good morning to you all. It happens to the best of us. You don't mean to wait until the very last minute, and then all of a sudden, it's the eve of Christmas Eve. Well, we're here to help you navigate the final countdown to Christmas. It's the final stretch of the Dash for Deals.
And this morning, holiday procrastinators are scrambling to scoop up last-minute gifts in what's expected to be one of the busiest shopping days of the year.
If you can concentrate on those things that retailers want to offload, you actually have the potential to save really big.
Retailers are slashing prices on holiday gift sets, toys and games, and smaller consumer electronics, with mounting pressure to clear out shelves amid an uncertain economy. This MacBook Air is going for 20% off at Best Buy. You'll find up to 50% off kitchen appliances at Target. And Kohl's is luring in customers with up to 30% off Lego building sets. Deep discounts winning over perennial procrastinators like Meredith McFadden.
That last minute energy, that's the way I get things done, like under pressure all the time.
The National Retail Federation reports just over half of U.S. consumers finish their shopping in the week leading up to Christmas. If you're feeling that pressure ahead of the holiday weekend, digital gifts make for easy last-minute presents, like subscriptions for books, video games, and streaming services, which are considered the top tech gift this season. And then, of course, there's e-gift cards. Remember to give them a personal flair.
If you can wrap it up in a fun way, that can really help make it seem just a little more personalized. You can also package a gift card with accessories that go along with it.
And for those gifts Santa isn't delivering, there are still shipping options. Today is the final day to utilize USPS and FedEx in time for Christmas, but expect to turn over hefty fees along with your package.
At this point, it's like I'm going to pay the extra money for the extra shipping. The other day, I paid $35 for something to be shipped in time.
Retailers like Walmart and Amazon offer even more flexibility through part of Christmas Eve with same-day shipping. For Amazon, that process plays out at its same-day sites, which will push out roughly 600,000 packages today alone.
You can place your order on Christmas Eve and still get it under the tree in time. And still get it within hours under the tree on time.
A last-minute scramble for sales and the final countdown to Christmas.
Emily, everybody's watching the story.
All right, thank you, Emily. And next, the Christmassy place, the best Christmassy place in the world, behind the scenes of a British castle, also known as Downton Abbey. I have a hard time saying that, but we'll be right back, and hopefully I'll understand how to say it. It's so hard for me. I don't know why.
Fight infections, including TB, serious infections and blood clots, some fatal, cancers including lymphoma and skin cancer, death, heart attack, stroke, and tears in the stomach or intestines occurred. People 50 and older with at least one heart disease risk factor have higher risks. Don't take if allergic to Rinvoq, as serious reactions can occur. Tell your doctor if you are or may become pregnant.
Ask your rheumatologist for Rinvoq. Rinvoq. Make it your mission. Learn how AbbVie could help you save.
How did Kellogg's combine crunchy oat clusters with a touch of honey, plump, juicy raisins, and tasty fiber into one delicious cereal? It took a lot of brainstorming. Get it? Kellogg's Raisin Bran Crunch. 2 scoops of delicious.
The City Custom Cash Cards automatically adjust to your spending. You don't have to keep tabs on rotating categories.
This is the only rotating I care about.
It does the work for you. Earn cash back that automatically adjusts to your top eligible spend category with the City Custom Cash Card.
Wish your car's air freshener didn't start so strong and then fade too soon? Try Febreze Car Vent Clips. Unlike other fresheners, Febreze releases a consistent amount of scent day after day for 40 days. Won't overwhelm, won't fade away. Febreze Car. Love it or get your money back.
And now to Downton Abbey, the most festive place of the year. And now, guess who we got out there? Christy Koloba shows us around. Christy?
Guys, good morning. Well, it takes nearly a year of planning to get this castle Christmas ready. And we were given an early invite to see all the trimmings with the Lord and Lady themselves. Highclere Castle, a festive treat at Christmas. What a tree! It's beautiful. Now this screams Christmas.
And it's how tall? It's 25 foot, which means I think it's bigger even than Windsor Castle's Christmas tree.
It's all about the bragging rights. Lady Carnarvon told me putting up the 25-foot Christmas tree this year was an Instagram hit, a team effort needing at least 20 people. In Christmases past, the Highclere tree featured in memorable scenes from Downton Abbey. This year, there's a historical family theme.
So the theme is about ancient Egypt and Tutankhamun and the gold and the treasures.
I visited Egypt last month, 100 years after the discovery, and saw the treasures of Tutankhamun in the Cairo Museum. It was Lord Carnarvon's great-grandfather, the 5th Earl of Carnarvon, who discovered the tomb in Egypt along with Howard Carter.
But when he first started out there, all he found in his first season of moving thousands of tons of earth was a mummified cat. Many of us would have quit at that stage, and far from that, he was so determined it actually spurred him on.
The castle boasts 300 rooms, many, like the library, lavishly decorated for the Christmas holiday.
How many trees are in the castle? There are 60 inside and outside.
60.
60. That's a big Christmas.
The next one to your left is going.
And in the dining room, the immaculate table is laid out with precision, ready for a feast. And with celebrations in mind, it's time for a holiday cocktail. Louis Coelho is Highclere Castle's head butler. He makes their signature gin and tonic.
We do a bit of rosemary.
Rosemary actually does have a sort of a Christmassy flavor
It
as
does,
well.
actually. It's quite warm, I think, and orange.
Well, should I try? You can smell the orange and the rosemary.
Keeping in the spirit, Downton style. Ready to ring in the new year.
The castle.
Wow, that place is great. Hope to go there in the future. Thank you, Kelly. Sorry, made a mistake in your name. Thank you, Kelly. And our crossing guard that deserves the world for Christmas after no clues.
This year, take the time to melt into your holiday moments with Lindor. Irresistibly smooth chocolate from the Lindt Master Chocolatier.
What if you were a major transit system with billions of passengers taking millions of trips every year? You weren't about to let any cyber attacks slow you down. So you partner with IBM to build a security architecture to keep your data, network, and applications protected. Now you can tackle threats so they don't bring you to a grinding halt. And everyone's going places, including you. Let's create cybersecurity that keeps your business on track. IBM, let's create.
As someone living with type 2 diabetes, I want to keep it real and talk about some risks. With type 2 diabetes, you have up to 4 times greater risk of stroke, heart attack, or death. Even at your A1C goal, you're still at risk, which if ignored could bring you here. May put you in one of those, or even worse. Too much? That's the point. Get real about your risks and do something about it. Talk to your healthcare provider about ways to lower your risk of stroke, heart attack, or death. Learn more at getrealaboutdiabetes.com.
And we're back, and we're looking into the future next week as Hoda sits down with Miley Cyrus to have a conversation to talk about everything, all new next week. And on to the weather to see how it plays out all throughout the country. Dylan, again, we've been calling you so many times today, huh? Probably tired of us, but Dylan, explain what's going on.
It's the very gusty winds. Look at the weird temperatures across the country. Chicago's at -8, Pittsburgh's at 8, New York's at 50 degrees. So that's the cold air that's going to surge in behind this storm system. And any rain in the Buffalo area is going to transition over to snow. And then this turns into a lake effect snow event with blowing snow likely across the Great Lakes and as much as 2 to 3 feet of snow in the Buffalo, Watertown area back into New York. Winds gusting over 60, 70 miles per hour. Absolutely reduced visibility in that part of the country, also across western Michigan, where we'll see the snow off of Lake Michigan, too. And then those gusty winds toss around the snow, and it really reduces visibility, making it very dangerous to be outside. Anyone who's lost power, or as the winds continue around 40 to 60 miles per hour, we could still lose power. But back behind it, the cold temperatures will make it just very, very dangerous to be without power for too long. Minneapolis, the wind chill right now is 33 degrees below zero. Kansas City, 24 degrees below zero. Dallas, it feels like 5 below. Memphis feels like 15 below, and all of that cold air will continue.
All right, let's now to our morning boost. A girl named Ava made hot chocolate for herself, and this is how it turned out. Well, it looks like she's enjoying it. It really looks like she's enjoying it. She's digging in there, right? Alright, that was a great morning boost. And now on to break. After break, at least, we'll be talking to a crossing guard that inspired kids to actually go to school every day. And also, after we talk to that crossing guard, we'll be talking to Tim Dolan. Right after local news.
Come on, old beauty. Hey, are you ready?
Okay. I'm gonna miss you. Billy, that's your name, right? Have a little surprise for you. I'll let you do it next time. This baby's coming.
Come on. Oh, Billy. Let's grab your bags. I was working on this thing all night. Merry Christmas, Mrs. Hanks.
Are you ready? Babylon has arrived. Hell yeah! It's a wildly entertaining ride and the most fun you'll have at the movies.
Who wants to see me fight a snake?
You're gonna fight a snake. This is great. Babylon, now playing rated R.
And we're back, and now we'll be talking to Angela, the crossing guard that works for the Chicago School District. And every time someone comes to school, she gives them gifts, only for during the Christmas season, though. So today we gave her a nice visit.
Good morning, good morning.
At this intersection, Angela Thompson is the bright light.
Paris, how was your day? Did you have a better day from this morning?
For nearly 2 decades, she's been helping elementary school students cross the street safely.
You get to see these kids grow up. You say hello in the morning, you say goodbye in the afternoon.
But it's not just a hello and goodbye for me. In the mornings, I can have a child having a bad day, and I'm always, how can we make your day better?
And during this time of year,
Let me clock out first.
Angela spends her time off the clock spreading holiday cheer.
And this one as well is 25% off.
By organizing her very own toy drive, shopping for gifts to give to the children who brighten her day.
She is the good crossing guard. She'll come out of nowhere just to make sure we get across the street.
Let's go back to the beginning of this toy drive. How was this born?
There was a young mother, and she was just crying and talking about what she couldn't do for her children. And so I told her, I said, hey, see me next week. So that week when she stopped and saw me, I had all of these gifts, and her tears, oh my God, her tears it touched me. It just made me wonder how many young parents are going through something.
Thanks to donations from her family and friends like her daughter, Asia. Angela makes her list,
$337.56.
then checks it twice. This year, Angela and her hardworking elves are wrapping over 70 gifts. Each toy wrapped, a gift in more ways than one.
I'm helping out because the love for Angie and her passion for what she does.
Angela and Santa Claus have a plan. They will deliver the wrapped presents to students right here on the last day before winter break begins. I suited up with Angela, stop sign in hand.
Oh, we got one.
To meet the kids on her shopping list.
All right, let's go. Here we go, Craig. We're moving. We're moving, Craig.
Man? You doing a nice list or a naughty list? Okay. You look like you're probably on a nice list. Merry Christmas.
All right, Craig, you got to beat the light back.
Sorry.
You are hilarious.
Sorry.
Craig, you're going to get fired on your first day.
What are you the first time? You can't get past me. No. I'm not losing a kid on my watch. How was your school day? Yes. Angela, what happens if you run out of gifts?
The time that I did run out of gifts, Good Samaritans stopped and brought me gifts.
But this time, we didn't want to take any chances. We took Angela to Fisk Elementary School. This is where those kids we met attend class. Angela had no idea what was waiting for her.
Oh, wow. What is this?
Wow.
Hello.
Hi.
Y'all know Miss Angela? In honor of your hard work, the folks at Hasbro have decided that they are going to give
a gift to every child in this auditorium on your behalf. Santa, elves, y'all come on out.
And on to Dylan with that forecast.
Bad on the plaza, one of the good spots, but we want to give a special hello. Where's your dad watching from?
Richmond, Virginia.
And his name is Waylon?
Waylon, yeah.
And ironically enough, he said he wanted you to bring me home for Christmas,
Yeah.
but we can't do that. No. But I can say hi and Merry Christmas, Waylon. We missed you here in New York. And again, in New York, it's one of the better spots for right now because temperatures are actually in the 50s. And we are going to see things take a turn, though, over the next couple of hours. In fact, we've got some of our coldest temperatures working into the upper Midwest, the upper plains, the northern plains, where temperatures are already down below zero. In St. Louis, we're actually going to see temperatures, wind chills feeling like it's about 15 degrees below zero. The wind chills are going to be brutal, stretching all the way down into Texas along the Gulf Coast, too. It's also snowy in the Pacific Northwest. So if you're traveling up through Seattle, we've had a lot of airport delays, too, because of the rain and snow out that way. That's a look at the weather across the country. Now here's a peek out your window.
There's a lot of Christmas traditions that we can't go without doing in Studio 1A. Number one, eggnog, of course. And number two, it's Tim Dolan. So I did an interview with him earlier, and this is the inspirational things he had to say earlier.
Chanel, it has been a dark time, hasn't it? I mean, I was home for Thanksgiving, our first one without Mom. We lost her in March. So there's always enough darkness to go around, you know? And even though there's always seems to be darkness, this year seems to have been a full house. You know, you look at Ukraine, you look at the violence, you look at the political division and turmoil. My Lord, some of that weather story that Dylan just tells, you know, the people that are going to really be stranded and suffering anyway. Good to tag that, good to recognize that, good to acknowledge that, because in a way, when we tag the darkness, when we admit that there's some tension and some trauma and suffering in our life, really what we're saying is, I need someone or something to fill that. You know, the philosophers tell us that evil is not something, it's a lack of something. It's a hole, that it's the absence of good. So in a way, when we tag all this darkness that's going on in the world, what we're saying is, I need some light. I need some light. And you, as a believer, I believe that Jesus, who revealed himself as the light to the world, you think of the Christmas star in the middle of the darkest time of the year, the darkest time of the day, midnight, that light to the world. That's what we got. We need a little Christmas. We need some light. It's the darkest time of the year, naturally. Was it yesterday? We should ask.
It's the shortest day of the year.
The shortest day of the year. And now the sun begins to go up. So darn it, light always trumps darkness. You know what? Life always wins over death. And that, of course, is the message of Christmas. Cardinal.
And that was a very special interview and a message that we got from him.
You are going to witness
Look out the window.
an absolute spectacle.
Showtime.
That's big.
I'll be.
Why do they always have to go bigger?
Are you pulling on my legs right now? No. Let's go!
Freedom doesn't wait. Libre. The original eau de parfum, Yves Saint Laurent. Happy holidays.
For bathroom odors that linger, Try Febreze Small Spaces. Just press firmly and it continuously fights odors in the air and on soft surfaces for 45 days.
With Ring, whether you're expecting guests, keeping an eye on a delivery, or dashing through the snow, it's peace of mind all year long. So give the gift that keeps on giving. Hurry and shop holiday deals at ring.com.
How did Kellogg's combine crunchy oat clusters with a touch of honey, plump, juicy raisins, and tasty fiber into one delicious cereal? It took a lot of brainstorming.
And lastly, before we go, I'd like to explain why I haven't been here. So, the whole story is that I've been contemplating leaving or staying at NBC, and I officially decided to stay because this felt like home to me. Coming into Rockefeller Plaza every day was honestly a treat, and now I'm proud to say that I'm an official NBC News worker. And alright, that's all I have to say pretty much. I didn't put it in the opening, I didn't want to surprise anyone, but yes, I'm an official NBC worker. Alright, I'll see you on New Year's Eve day, right before I have to go to Times Square to see the ball drop. Hopefully I can record that for you guys, so you guys can see it next week. But for now, take care of yourself and others. Have a great rest of your Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. Have a great rest of your day, like I just said.